always goes right for them. That person has the money, the house, the body, the business, they have it all. And it's because they have mastered the energy game. Some letting go is going to have to happen. Some identity shifting is going to have to happen. And being willing to keep moving forward, being willing to let go of who we've been so that we can become the next level version of us. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Lucy Superfox show. My name is Lucy Superfox and this is my podcast. On today's episode, I want to talk to you if you are ready for a growth era. So if right now you are slowing down, sitting back, and you're not ready to kind of be driven, be lifted, and be moved forward, this is not the podcast episode for you. This is the episode for the people that are ready. They are ready to step into their power, ready to step into their authenticity. Maybe you've come through a healing era. Maybe you've been working with me on that. Or maybe right now you have been found called and you found this video and you're like, what is this energy? I need part of it. But the difference is I need you to be ready to hear what I'm going to say. If we're not ready to receive something, then actually we're not going to do anything with it. There's a difference between knowing something up here and knowing something here. And the first step to a growth journey, whether that's in growing your business, growing your wealth, growing as a person, growing your capacity to hold space for, more clients or have a family, is because you're ready. And that readiness comes from feeling safe. So if you haven't done that inner healing work, you haven't done that journey of knowing who you are and bringing that kind of safety to who you actually are, then you might not be quite ready to receive this. So if you kind of receive what I'm saying, you're like, oh, you feel a bit jarred or you feel triggered, that's a really good sign that it's probably time to deep dive into your healing era. And there are a ton of resources and materials that will drop below in the show notes if you are ready for that healing season. But today I'm going to speak to those of you who have been through that journey or right now are in a season in life, in business or relationships who are ready to dive in and grow. You're ready for that expansion. You're ready for that big life. You're ready for that next step, whatever that looks like. So as I've said, the first step to growing something special, to growing something bigger or to creating something more is that foundation of safety. So if right now you have a big goal to grow your business, right? And I always use business as an example. So even if you have a career or a job, you can relate what I'm saying. The first step is recognizing that your work is an extension of your energy and who you are. So if you don't like something about yourself, or there are parts of yourself that you're not aware of that step forward and act out and get triggered and get frustrated, and you're not aware that you're doing that, those parts of you are going to hold you back from really either driving yourself forward and making yourself visible, or actually creating enough space and enough energy to create the goals that you're actually seeking. A lot of people set really kind of logical goals, a very kind of practical structure, like, I want to hit 10K months. I'm doing 5K months now. I want to hit 10K months. But my question is, are you the person who can create, hold, and be a match for 10K months? Are you the person that when that money comes in and then suddenly you have to, if you're in the UK, register for VAT, maybe pay corporation tax, then your tax rate goes up? Like, are you ready for that? And I think a lot of people love the idea of goals, because I was the same, to be clear. I love the idea of these goals, but the truth was I wasn't actually the person I needed to be yet. And so this is where we come back to this foundation of safety, this foundation of knowing that no matter what happens, I've got it, and that I'm aware of every part of myself, and I'm aware that when I get triggered, or I'm aware when something happens, and that awareness means I can catch it, call it, and move forward. So if you still feel like there are parts of you that act out, whether that's through emotional eating, overspending, overthinking, over-ruminating, I want you to take a step back for yourself and either deep dive into that healing journey that I've talked about, or recognize that maybe there's some foundational safety that you need to create. And this is exactly how to do that. So number one, you have to prioritize how you think and how you feel before you act. The world that we live in is obsessed with action. It's obsessed with hustle. It's obsessed with creation. It's obsessed with being busy and doing more. But actually, the energy that you infuse the action with, the person you show up as in the action, that's what creates the results. So let's say you go to a doctor's appointment and you're like, this is what's wrong with me. I feel sick. I feel this. I feel that. And the doctor's like, yeah, here's a prescription. Off you go. Do you think, oh, I feel seen and I feel heard and that they really care about me? No. But if the doctor's like, oh, that's so interesting. And what made you feel that way? And when did this start? And does this happen? You feel the energy difference. So when we try to create more or different or go for different goals, we have to give it a different energy. We can't be approaching a next level goal, whether it's money or body or business, with the same energy we have today that's creating the same life we have today. One of my favorite ever quotes and phrases is, you get what you're available for. There is a part of you right now that is available to get what you have now, whether that's money, body, business, or relationships. So if you are looking to get more, whether that's a bigger business, a better body, a happier marriage, the truth is you're going to have to become a different version of yourself in order to be available for those things. You're going to have to think different. You're going to have to feel different. You're going to have to become different. And this is where this foundation of safety, this foundation of well-being, this foundation of knowing yourself is so important when we want to create more. Because just like a house built on sand, if we don't have strong foundations, it will collapse. And you see this a lot, and this definitely happened to me in my first kind of wave of turning six figures. Is I got to that level and then I felt this pressure and I felt this contraction, like I had to keep up, like I was kind of treading water. And what that then meant was that we shrank back a bit. Now, I then was able to expand well beyond that as I created that foundation of safety. But if we build a house on sand, it can't grow from there, right? That's the maximum extension. Whereas if you build strong foundations, no matter what happens, no matter what weather system comes, somebody could come with a bulldozer at your proverbial house, and the truth is you just rebuild it. And so this is where your foundation of safety and your foundation of well-being is the most important thing if you are looking to go into a growth era. The second thing that you absolutely must have if right now growth is on your mind and you are ready to grow is you have to grasp the concept of the law of attraction. I don't mean you know about it, you get it. I mean you know it. I mean you get it. I mean you fully embody, accept, and own it. You are getting what you are currently available for, mentally, emotionally, conceptually, physically, but you are also getting what you are available for energetically. So you can have goals and desires and dreams and want something, but be giving out a completely different energy. And a lot of us are giving out wants, like I want more money, I want a better business, I want to be more successful, but our energy saying, because I'm not successful, because I don't have enough money, because I don't like how I look. And look, I am a big believer in that the contrast creates the clarity. The thing we don't like helps us get clear on what we do like. What we don't want helps us get clear on what we do want. But truthfully, if we're actually going to be in the energy of the things that we want, which is how we become a match, it's how attraction works, right? That's where the power is. We can't be focused on the things we don't want. So even if you're focused on your goals every single day, and I hear it all the time, like rewrite your goals and say affirmations, if your energy deep down is actually saying lack, not good enough, fear, need to be seen, need to be heard, and it's coming from like really primal needs and it's coming from anxiety, then it's not lifting you into the energy you need to be in to have and be those things. This is why, in my opinion, you often see a lot of people have a lot of things. You're like, always goes right for them. That person has the money, the house, the body, the business, they have it all. And it's because they have mastered the energy game. So what do? You're like, okay, Luce, well, I've worked out, I want a 10K month, but the truth is I'm vibrating at a 2K month. What do I do? We have to fix the gap. We have to work out why in the gap are you not moving from the 2KU to the 10KU? Part of that is creating that foundational safety. The second part of that is about shifting your energy and shifting your focus. So when you find yourself caught in a negative spiral, again, this awareness, you're not just knowing I'm caught in a negative spiral, you can feel it, you sense it. And in that moment, you take your power back and you switch it up. But we give our power away so much. This person said this and it made me feel like that. This thing happened outside of me that I can't control, by the way. And what that means is I can't do X, Y, Z. When we give all our energetic power away, what we then do is put ourselves back into the mode of, everything's happening to me. But the energy of the things that we want is bigger than where we are right now. It's bigger, it's out there, it's more. So we can't be like this and expect a life like this. Instead, we have to become a person that has this big energy, that has this strong energetic vibration that can hold these things. And I know if you're watching this like on YouTube or Spotify, you'll see what I'm doing with my arms. That's what it feels like. It feels like this expansion, this openness. But we can't have expansion and openness without a foundation of safety. And we can't have expansion and openness when we're in lack, anxiety, and frustration. And those are feelings that are created by old thought patterns, old habits, old behaviors, and old beliefs. And that's why those things have to be cleaned out. They have to be recycled. They have to be rewritten. This is where there's a process and a framework for growth. This is why I created the 6-week shift program, for this exact reason. For those people who have that level of awareness and they have that foundational safety that then can move themselves through that framework to reshift, to rewire, to recalibrate, and to ultimately expand into the things that they're looking for. So that's number 1, foundational safety. Number 2, grasping the law of attraction and the concept of energetics. Number 3, and I think really this is the biggest one for me, it's about being willing to let go. It's about being willing to let go of the identity of you that created the 5K business, and the identity of you that people think you are, and the identity of you that you have been for a long time. You know, in this podcast, I would have loved to have called this podcast the Eras Tour, but Taylor Swift took that. And I really believe life is about eras and seasons and chapters. Yet the world wants us to be in boxes and labels and define us by our age, by our gender, by our, sexuality, by what we do for a job. What's the first thing when someone, what do you do for work? But have you ever really thought about who you want to be? Not what you want to do, not what people know you as, not what you should do, not what's the right thing to do, but who do you want to be? Because you can want a 10K month because a 10K month creates XYZ for your family or creates choices and freedom. But do you want to be a 10K a month kind of person? Do you want to be a person with that level of, that size of business? Or do you want to be a person who thinks that way and feels that way and talks that way? Because if you're still talking and thinking and feeling as a 2K a month person, some change is going to have to happen. Some letting go is going to have to happen. Some identity shifting is going to have to happen to move between your 2K self and your 10K self. That's the reality. And I really believe the reason most people don't change and don't create the growth they're looking for, or don't sustain the growth, is simply because they're not willing to let go. So are you willing to let go? I wasn't willing to let go for years and years and years and years and years. And it was only through coming through my healing era and recognizing that the life I wanted, I'd come so far off path. I'd come so far away from the direction of who I wanted to be, because I'd got caught up in the shoulds, the must-dos, the right thing to do, the next thing to do. I got caught up in the paper goals of okay, we've done 10K months, we've done 15K months, now let's do 25K months. Without thinking, am I the kind of person who, wants to hold space for this many clients, or have this thing, or create my life like this? And I started creating wealth from things I didn't even want. And then I found myself caught in this trap of, I don't even want this. And this is what can happen when we get caught up in the logic of something, or the right thing to do, or the next thing to do. And what growth really comes from, that easy, fun, that freedom, that feeling of growth that I know you're looking for, that feeling of expansion, of something opening, of more. That feeling doesn't come from hustle and stress and planning, and it doesn't come from that energy, because that's low down energy. The expansive energy that I guarantee is the kind of energy that you are looking for the growth in, the ease, the flow, the abundance. That energy comes from this sense of foundational safety, this willingness and awareness of energetics and how our energy affects our life experience, and being willing to keep moving forward, being willing to let go of who we've been so that we can become the next level version of us. So if this has resonated on some level and you are ready to shift these patterns, beliefs, behaviors, you're ready to let go of who you've been to become that next level version of yourself, then the 6-week shift program is absolutely the exact framework that you need. I'm going to drop in the show notes below, I'm going to drop how you can access that program. It's a one-to-one Coach with Me program for 6 weeks. It's an intensive accelerator for those people who are looking to grow at a rapid rate and catapult themselves into the next year with that abundant, free energy that you're seeking. So I hope on some level this resonated. If you're ready to grow, you can hit the links below and join me inside the 6-week shift. My name was Lucy Superfox, and this was my show, and I'll see you on the next episode.